her game is. So big opportunity for both these players to get to another Sunday.
Lea Jansen will be our first server back to serve on Parris Todd.
Point.
The start in these matches is something that I would say people don't realize how critical it is. Coming out, playing a good first point can really give you that confidence you need to play your game and start imposing your will on your opponent.
Nice opening try from Parris Todd to get the ball back.
Yeah, and that far side that Parris is on right now is the side with a little bit of wind against. And so those dipping, dropping, kind of third shot passes are so effective on that side. And we'll see how the players kind of shift their game accordingly.
Side out.
Great point there by Lea. That two-shot combo of the passing shot to set up that volley in transition is a really good play if you can kind of get your opponent bending a little bit or a little out of position.
1-0. Side out.
Heavy on the serve. Lea Jansen known for that part of her game as well.
0-1.
Cross-court beauty from Lea Jansen. Sign out.
Yeah, and you don't see as much cat and mouse in women's pickleball, but in this match, it'll be interesting to see if Lea can play a little bit of cat and mouse here with Parris. I think that could be one of her strategies, and Parris, obviously, with her passing shots, is so deadly, and I would assume that if she can get into those kind of situations where she has a look at some of those dipping passing shots, that's going to favor her and start to have her run away with it as well.
2-0. Point.
Jansen continues the lead to 3. Stroud looking to make her 3rd final of the year. Be Lea Jansen's 2nd was in the final in Cape Coral against Annalie Waters.
Yeah, and with Annalie not playing this event, it opens the door for these other females to take a title, and that's obviously on their minds as AL has been so dominant in singles and everyone's striving for that gold. It's a little just kind of extra thought in their mind, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to strike and take that medal.
Side out.
Parris Todd has Hunter Johnson on their bench, and their physio who travels with them, does body work with them.
0-4.
Keeps them healthy.
Side out.
And Parris missing some of those passes early on, maybe going for a little bit too much, and maybe that's a sign of respect for Lea's coverage at the net, feeling like she has to go for a little bit more, and we'll see if she settles in and kind of gives a little extra margin there on those shots.
Point.
Lea's approach shots here,
Timeout receiver, 5-0.
very effective, putting Parris on the defensive, and I love that timeout by Parris. That advice, and she's able to find her rhythm on these passing shots here.
Todd in for 2 semifinal matches today as well, teaming up with Lacey Schneeman later today against Waters and Parento. Lea Jansen looking to build.
Point.
6-0.
And there, interestingly, after that chat, I was hoping to see Parris rip that backhand cross court, and she backs off it a little bit, giving Lea the opportunity to put away that volley.
6-0. Timeout.
And as a Lea fan, you probably want that one back. 6-0 with the opportunity, ball on your paddle, taking it cross to really kind of cement this first game. And anytime in any of these singles pickleball matches, the more you hang around the hoop, bad things happen if you're trying to close it out.
Point.
And Todd is on the board. She's a fighter. You never count her out of games or matches either.
Yeah, and in this matchup, I feel like I remember that there have been some epic comebacks from both sides, so you never feel too safe. And Todd starting to kind of impose her will there. That was a nice approach by her in that point to get that volley.
You're right on that, Connor, on the money. The Atlanta Grand Slam last year, Parris Todd faced a game point against, came back to take it 13-11 in the first, then took the match, and Lea Jansen is smooth sailing to start this semifinal.
Yeah, and there on the passing shot, a little bit less than I've seen Parris normally hit on those. So whether it's the courts, whether it's Lea's ball, or she's just getting into this match, we'll see how that kind of continues.
Timeout.
That one you see a little bit more from Parris on that forehand, causing the error
1-6
on the next ball from Lea.
Slice utilizing that court surface, to your point, in match 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, very smart approach from Parris. It's so tough to get under that ball. You really got to overdo the legs if you're Lea there to get under that ball, to get that up and down so it stays in the court and doesn't miss longer in the net.
Clean pass for Jansen. Right back to her side.
Very controlled by Lea at the start here. She's not going for too much, finding her spots and giving Parris some fits when she's trying to come in.
6-2.
It's emotionally even-keeled too, which I think is definitely key for Lea Jansen to stay within herself.
Yeah, exactly. And depending on who you're playing, sometimes you feel like you'll have to do too much out there, but just trusting your game and playing to your strengths is so key, and Lea's off to a strong start with that.
Point.
And then you see Parris there with 2 good passing shots to start that. So she's starting to get a little bit more comfortable on those passes. Obviously didn't convert on the third. But land here, and I have a feeling that that person will come away with this match.
8-2. Point.
Now it is all Lea Jansen. In a 3-game battle against Jeannie Bouchard in the quarters, Parris Todd persevered in 3 over Georgia Johnson in her quarterfinal.
9-2.
A draw wide open without Waters in the mix. Lea Jansen perseveres for more.
Super scrappy point by Lea, coming out with a big lob there to get back into point. And I love coming in behind it, just giving it a little extra pressure there for Parris to hit that passing shot. Sticks the volley, has a game point here.
10-2.
Todd shows life, saves 1 game point against. Is it too late?
Yeah, and you see Parris starting to find a little bit more success at the net here, while Lea's just been ever so steady, kind of imposing her will on the approaches. We'll see if Parris can make a run here.
2-10.
There's her game. Parris Todd closing to the net, working the volley angles.
Yeah, signs of life from Parris there, starting to control the point a little bit on that last point. 3-10, though, is a difficult deficit to come back from, but with these two, you can never rule anything out.
Just wide there. Game point number 2 for Lea Jansen.
Ten-3. Side up.
In the budget, 10-3. You can make a few errors at this point and still be in a very good spot here. So I don't mind a miss there as long as she's going for that and continues to go for it.
Feathery touch from Parris Todd. I don't know if any lead's safe against Todd, though. She says she forgets the scoreline and just plays. Doesn't matter how big the deficit. She's one of the most focused players.
Yeah, and great point there by Todd. You see Lea taking a little off that passing shot, and I like it. And then Parris coming up with that really good soft volley.
Side up. Game point.
Game point number 3, Lea Jansen calling in offense singles. Game point, though, for now for Lea Jansen. Ooh. Todd on the run, and Lea Jansen
Point game, timeout, 10 games.
puts it down. It took
Side up.
the ball striking from Jansen to start game 2 as well.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. The wind isn't too much of a factor, but just a little bit. If you're Parris on this side, you're probably feeling a little bit less worried that the ball is going to go past you on that first passing shot, and there might be a little bit more opportunity to get in those volley rallies.
Point.
That being said, with the wind, you have like a slight breeze, maybe affecting the return, missing it long just a scotch.
1-0.
A glimpse of an opening for Lea Jansen. Parris Todd stands tall at the kitchen. Would you like to see more of her here in game 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Parris, it's getting up to that kitchen line when she's been able to get up there and get a good look at a first volley. She's had a lot of success. If she's able to continue doing that like there, she's going to like what she sees. And Lea from the baseline, if she keeps her out of it, is going to have success as well. So the best part about singles is it's all on you, and whoever executes their game plan better is going to come away with this one.
You predicted the future on that one.
1-1.
Volley from Parris Todd.
Point.
Another feisty approach from Todd. Sees Jansen through the middle.
Yeah.
Challenges her.
And gets a little bit more on that passing shot and having some success. So we'll see how that translates as this game gets down the stretch.
Side out. One, two. Side out.
He misses.
Yeah.
On both sides here. Kind of leaves an opening for someone to really step in here and take this second game and let the other player know that, hey, I'm going to play big.
Maybe serve up the tee for Parris Todd, converts to another point.
Yeah, love to see that after a few misses there, going for that aggressive shot. Great mentality by Parris there.
3-1. Point.
Lea Jansen looking frustrated
Timeout
now, and
receiver,
she is
4-1.
calling a timeout back in her player box. You're in control. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, no, really impressive to be able to be out here and dealing with all of that, managing more than just the average player has to deal with, and still coming out here and putting on some impressive results.
Especially with a tight turnaround, too. But Parris Todd interjects with her control of the match.
And if you're a Parris Todd fan coming out of that timeout, you love to see that. Just great passing shot. Maybe not that one there, but definitely the first one.
Another clean pass for Todd.
Yeah, and those weren't going in the first game. Now they are. So we'll see how that shifts the narrative here. And is that narrative defined by the wind, or is she just starting to heat up a little bit more on her shots?
5-1. Point.
Heavy serve from Todd.
Yeah, great serve there by Parris. And wind in singles is so much more of a factor in these games with such small
6-1.
margins. These players are really fighting for that like little inch on all these shots.
Point.
And right now it's a lot of unforced errors on Lea Jansen's side, who's hitting currently into the wind with the backboard.
7-1.
Todd utilizing a cut serve that time to throw Jansen's timing off,
Timeout
and the
receiver,
return goes into the net.
45 seconds.
Second timeout call for Lea Jansen in the form of her free check.
Here with this side and
8-1.
keeping it out of the middle of the court. Love that adjustment here, and we'll see if Lea goes for it.
Set off the tape.
Yeah, and sometimes just a little luck to start it off gives you that extra boost to stay true to that game plan that you're trying to implement from the crossover.
That's the voice of Tui Nation, Connor Garnett, if you're curious. Into the net on the third, though, for Lea Jansen. Closing stretch for Todd in game 2.
Yeah, and if you're a Lea fan, even though that was a miss, you don't hate that, because now she's starting to go for those corners a little bit, and you're hoping that she stays the course on that and starts to find her way back in this game.
Ooh.
Point.
Overhit it, and Parris Todd.
Yeah, excellent point control there by Parris. She's able to get in with a great return there, hold herself at that volley line. Lea wasn't able to pass her, and maybe at the end there, Lea going for a little extra on that ball, causing the miss.
Perfect movement from Parris Todd. Lea Jansen adopts the strategy to move her around, and Parris Todd is quick. Game point for Todd in game 2.
Yeah, and that return, the depth of the return was a little short, allowing Parris to get up to that ball, hit a great first pass, and then really implement her passing shot ways on that next one.
Drop volley, reverse of the flow, and it's good. Parris Todd takes the second, 11-1. A third deciding game will be required in this matchup.
A strong enough lead where it doesn't really matter when we switch sides. So it'll be interesting to see, and the winner of this will play Kate Fahey with AL Dub out of this. So a chance to play against my fellow Pro XR athlete. Got to give them a little shout out here in the final.
Point.
Opening point goes to Lea Jansen. Needs to get a big cushion, again, if you're in her camp, with the wind at her back.
Yeah, and you love to see that, starting out with the serve, converting with that first point. Definitely a good sign if you're Lea. Also not a bad sign if you're Parris, as you are on the tougher side here. Great swinging volley by Parris there. And Lea maybe just a step slow on being able to take that out of the air and convert with a volley into the open court.
0-1. Side out.
Cutter serve attempt from Parris Todd. Again, we saw her mix that in a little bit in game 2 as well, mixing in some different tempos. The court surface not bouncing as high. She does that.
Love it. I think that's a good strategy here to do that. Give a different look. Use that slice on this surface here is definitely an effective way to go about it.
Point.
Jansen closes first, beats Todd to the punch. All over the cross-court read. Todd was trying to pass in that direction.
Two zero.
Todd smokes it down the line. Ball back to her side.
Yeah, and an interesting comment there by Lea saying stay line. So having some insight there, whether that's more of a frustration comment or going back to her camp's earlier comment of she knows where Parris is going, and a little bit of that chess match of playing each other enough where you see their best shots and forcing them to hit their weaker shots, which maybe is that cross if you're in that Lea camp.
Two zero.
Ball was deep, and Jansen is thinking about challenging it.
Point. I didn't hear that. I did not hear that.
Parris Todd did call it out, and the referees are saying that they did not hear the call. Todd said she called it out and put her finger up.
Yeah, I think.
So Lea Jansen making her point known that she was okay with the out call and wasn't going to take the ball back. Otherwise, Parris would have had to use her free challenge there to overturn it. I mean, if you look back at the video too, you'd see the out call from Parris, but.
And the question there is, on that rule, do you have to make a verbal out call, or is just the signal enough? And I probably should know that as a pro, but I actually don't know the answer to that.
I think Todd's argument was I said out and I put my finger up. So maybe it was a softer out call. So good to know to be more vocal with that.
Yeah.
1-2.
Either way, justice was restored and they got it correct, which is all you really want to see out on the court, is the calls being correct and the players getting the opportunity to showcase their talent.
I believe it does have to be a verbal out call, though, to your point.
Got it. Good to know. I'll have to remember that when I'm on the court as well.
2-1. Point.
Big serve by Lea there, and just tough on these conditions to be able to weather that, and gets the point there.
3-1. Point.
Nice return from Parris Todd. Lea Jansen utilizing the extra wind at her back.
Four-one.
Todd finds the corner.
It's a big point right there. Momentum-wise, if Lea makes that pass, she's at 5-1 serving with 1 point away from going to the crossover. And Parris now 1-4 down.
1-4.
Gets this point and can make it a 2-point game. So A lot riding on these points.
Side out.
And an uncharacteristic miss there by Parris. No emotion there, which is a good sign if you're in the Parris camp, where she's just locked in and not really letting that affect her.
Great depth from Jansen. Once on the serve and next on the third.
Yeah, really, really well executed point there by Lea. Not much you can do if you're Parris, except going for a little extra risk on the return, but great point there by Lea.
5-1.
Whew. Slice off the tape, unfortunate bounce for Todd, and a fortunate one. Will receive the serve from Lea Jansen. It's to the less favorable side.
Point.
And it counts for a point.
Yeah, and this is where you're starting to think, if you're Parris, you're like, I'm on the good side, but Lea's only 4 points away from taking this match, so each point counts a little bit more if you're Parris, and you can start to let that creep in with that first missed return. Now she's in a good point here.
Targeting the backhand, invites Lea Jansen up, and then beats her with the pass. Well done by Parris Todd.
Yeah, really great pass there. Not trying to overhit it. Very in control on that pass. And I think a lot of amateur players, when they do play singles, they see that shot, they see the blood in the water and try and hit that 100 miles an hour. And Parris doing a great job of slowing that down, finding the open court.
That's a great point. And Todd utilizing her strength on this side now too.
Two 7.
Clean winner for Todd again. That cross-court corner has been troublesome for Lea Jansen.
Yeah, and really not a lot of pace on this ball again here, which makes it so deadly, because when you slow it down, you can get that ball to dip. And as Lea's coming in, if she's coming in and trying to get to that kitchen line and a step slow, you open up this huge opportunity to hit that passing shot there. Really well executed by Parris.
What can she do to adjust if you're Lea Jansen?
If you're Lea Jansen there, you probably want to split step a second sooner when she's coming in, and that will allow her to maybe be in a slightly weaker position, but be able to get to that ball, showing that risk of the wind as a factor as well.
Backhand's been known to be lethal as well at times. Oh, Lea Jansen loses her footing, but hits a winner.
Yeah, great shot there by Lea. And yeah, and it can depend on the day too with some of these. I mean, all these top players have all the shots, and so maybe today.
Hopefully her ankle's okay on that. It seems to be. That can be a scary tweak.
Yeah, she walked it off like a champ there. And
ouch.
Let's see if that flows into this point here at all.
Oh, off the tape.
Side out.
Jansen sends the ball back to Todd.
Yeah, and you start to see signs of life if you're Parris here, getting the ball back here, slowly creeping back from that 7-1 deficit.
4-7. Point.
Missed return. Troublesome for Lea Jansen.
Parris within 2.
5-7. Point.
Make it a chance to tie it for Parris Todd.
Yeah, and interesting there on the serve from Parris. She chose to go T to Lea's forehand. So I wonder if on some of these bigger points, we're going to see Parris go into that wing of Lea.
Lawyer split set that time too from Lea Jansen. Didn't matter. Parris Todd couldn't get the third back. Jansen's got to get off 7.
Yeah, and a little bit more success going to that backhand of Parris, at least today.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's something that she continues to go for, or if
7-6.
she wants to challenge Parris's forehand.
Side out.
Great shot there by Parris. A little bit shorter on that ball, allowing Parris to step in and really impose her will there. Great shot by Parris. And for the viewer at home, hitting a passing shot, one of the things that you want to be thinking
Big
about
7.
is, or at least if you're forcing someone to hit a passing shot, is the depth of that previous ball. That makes such a big difference. Great shot.
Todd grabs it.
Free
An
count.
improbable shot.
If you're in Parris's camp, you love to see that down the stretch late in game 3.
Point.
Todd beating the forehand of Lea Jansen again for the 1-point lead.
Yeah, and right now after that point, you see Parris getting up to the net, imposing her will a little bit more than we've seen before after that little confidence
8-7.
boost on that last point.
What a play. Todd
Point.
reverses the flow, 2-point gap, and 2 points to take the match.
Yeah, and if you're in the Lea camp, exactly what she said, you want to see her sticking those volleys. She got what she wanted there and went for the drop volley instead of the stick volley, and Parris read it well and has herself now a 2-point lead.
Point. Match point.
Match point for Parris Todd to advance to Championship Sunday. A second straight final
10-7.
for Parris Todd, her 3rd of the season. Drop volley. Lea Jansen shows sign of life, running out of time. You're in this situation, what's running through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I respect the play of Lea going for the drop volley there. If I was her, I may have wanted to see her stick that to kind of get back to that, but such a great shot there, and you just got to stick to what's working in your game and trust your game. In these big moments, that's what's going to get you through it.
And again, getting work to the forehand side. Parris Todd picking on that part of the court.
Yeah, Parris's forehand cross court has been a difference maker in this 3rd game. That's really been what has given her this lead and put her in this position.
Side up.
Okay, 2 match points saved.
And a slight crack there if you're Parris. Just, I love her going for that, but leaves the door open just a little bit for Lea here.
7-10.
And we'll see what she's able to come up with.
Again, it's the cross-court forehand that prevails for Parris Todd. Match point number 3.
Yeah, if you're Lea, you want to take your forehand down the line to her backhand and get in. And if you're Parris, you're like, I just want to stay in this cross-court forehand all day. If you want to come into my forehand, let's do that. I back it after what we've seen so far.
Depth to the backhand was the play from Lea Jansen. That volley was close. I think it did grab the sideline. Todd was staring at it for a while, and I wonder if Lea didn't display some good sportsmanship there in the second, if maybe Todd would challenge it.
Yeah, and I think Parris was actually looking at the baseline call, which maybe she didn't realize how close that volley to the side was as well. So both those very close shots, and Lea was able to find some precision there.
Match point.
Match point number 3 for Todd.
10-7.
Oh, Jansen hangs on. 3 match points saved. What's it going to take to get off 7?
Yeah, and if you're in the Parris camp, she did so much in that point, really extended that. That was a really impressive defense by her. And then Lea with the gutsy overhead there to get the...
Just wide as she came up to the kitchen. Match point number 4 for Todd.
Ten 7. Side out. Referee timeout. We have a challenge of the out call. The out call just said side out 7-10.
Lea Jansen.
We'll now proceed with video
Todd
review.
will
in, so we'll see.
After review, the call is overturned as the ball was in, resulting in technical foul. 1 point awarded to the opponent. Point game match.
All right, Parris Todd. Veolia, North Carolina Open. Parris Todd moving on to back-to-back championship Sundays in women's singles, knocking out Lea Jansen in 3 games alongside Connor Garnett. I'm Michelle McMahon. Parris Todd is joining us now in the broadcast. Parris, after dropping the first, how were you able to persevere in this match against Lea?
Yeah, Lea's obviously such a great player, and she came out really firing. I felt like the sides were playing a big role in this match, and I felt like I was able to kind of choose the right side. And I feel like I started on the bad side, and I knew if I just weathered the storm that I'd be able to come back, and on the third, I'd end on the good side.
Yeah, congrats on the win. Parris, way to battle back in that third game. I think down 6-1 on the shift, calling out that side. Were there any kind of plays or anything that you were thinking outside of the win that you were trying to get to? We saw a little bit of the slice serving. Were there any other factors in there that you were trying to utilize to help with this win?
Yeah, I mean, I think on these courts, the ball is bouncing so much lower than normal courts, so I feel like whoever can kind of get in first. I felt like Lea was kind of being more of the aggressor and able to get in a little bit more. I felt like on this side, my ball was a little bit short, so that's why she was kind of able to attack me a little bit more. But I felt like in the third, I was able to kind of pass a little bit better and kind of hit my spots a little bit more. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. It's so cool to see a full house out here, guys. So thank you so much.
All right, congratulations. Parris Todd moving on to Championship Sunday. You can catch her again in action in women's doubles later on this afternoon, playing with Lacey Schneeman as well.